everybody. Welcome to the next installment of Journey Through John, as we're taking bite-sized chunks of scripture, having a brief discussion, and then a challenge at the end with the hopes that this can be a resource for you to get into your word consistently. Today we're jumping into John chapter 20, and after John 19, we've had kind of this sorrowful time where we're looking at Jesus in the railroad trial as well as the cross, but today is where everything picks up and takes full swing as we begin to come to the conclusion of the book, this chapter and one more, and we're actually done with this journey through John. And so today we're diving into chapter 20, where Jesus raises from the dead, and it's one of these powerful moments in the Bible. In fact, the most powerful moment in the Bible. We see the death of Jesus, and then we see the resurrection of Jesus. So without further ado, let's jump right in to verse 1 of chapter 20. It says, "Now on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early, while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been taken away from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, 'They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they've laid him.' So Peter went out with the other disciple, and they were going toward the tomb. Both of them were running together. But the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. And stooping to look in, he saw the linen cloths lying there, but he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went to the tomb and saw the linen cloths lying there, and the face cloth which had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple who had reached the tomb first also went in, and he saw and believed. For as they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples went back to their homes." Exciting stuff. And really it's once again, let me just touch this point first before we get into some of the other matters. Once again, the thread I should say, that we see going through John, I've been saying before, is that they didn't understand the magnitude of Jesus. And this is, John has written this after the other gospels have been written. He's lived some life, and he came back and reflected, and he's starting to pick apart all these things that we missed out on when Jesus was here. And he even says they didn't, in verse 9, they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. They didn't understand the magnitude. They didn't understand the function. They didn't understand how this is all going to work out. And they kind of missed it. But now, starting here, they started, okay, there's something great here. There's something more to this than what we understood. And the reconciliation of the resurrection taking place, the redemption of mankind, the relationship being restored, is all coming together, and it's all because of Jesus, all because of the sacrifice, all because of the resurrection. Because Jesus now lives, we who follow him can now live. And I get excited about this stuff because if nothing else, and if I ever read this and I've had a bad day and I don't feel the fullness of the joy from this, I go back to the time when I first realized, when Jesus in the Spirit finally caused this to be a real thing to me. And I remember the magnitude of love that I recognized, because God did this for me so that I could have a relationship with him. I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're having a bad day. And I can tell you that if you watch some of the news reports on various matters, and I'm not against news, but if you watch the news reports on so many matters, it's really easy to get down. It's really easy to get depressed. It's really easy to get frustrated about things, and it's easy to take our eyes off Jesus, and for us to try to find a place where we fit, one side or the other, or somewhere in between. What if we just took today, just today, and I think we should take more than today, but what if we took today and just looked to Jesus and the fact that he rose from the grave? He came here when he didn't have to. He faced the punishment he didn't have to. He shed his blood, which he didn't have to. He died, which he didn't have to. And he rose again. And he went through all of that for us. There's a lot of things that we take our attention away in this world. There's a lot of things that we can focus on, how people are hurting, how people have hurt us, how mad we are at people, how wrong people are, how right people are. Sometimes when all this is going on around us, the best thing for us to do, and maybe this is me, and maybe this is me being a little pie in the sky, by and by type of personality in this instance, but I don't think so. I think it's more about feeling my own heart called to, when all this is going on around you, Adam, look to me, look to my love, look to how much I'm willing to sacrifice so that we can have a relationship, so that our relationship can be restored. And I think that's been a challenge for me recently, and in more than one instance. Am I willing to focus on Jesus in the midst of chaos, in the midst of trial, in the midst of what seems to be very conflicting sides? Am I willing to do that? And I think it's a challenge for me, but I hope it's a challenge for you. But I also want to encourage you. Jesus rose from the grave for you. He's risen from the grave for reconciliation to take place for all mankind. Let us not lose the magnitude and the value of that in the midst of the chaos of our day-to-day life. Hope it encourages you. Hope it challenges you. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow as we continue our journey through John.